You're not ungrateful. You're awake. This is the Dignity Room, a place that's always yours. Come in.
I want to slow down a moment most people never notice. Someone asks you a question, something simple. Do you want to come on Saturday? Should we go with this one? What do you think? And in the first instant, so the very first instant, before you say a word, before you weigh anything, something in you already answers. A small, fast pull towards or away, yes or no. You feel it more than you think it, almost like a flicker in your body. And then, half a second later, the second wave arrives. The reasons, the considerations, the the thing about how everyone else will feel. And by the time you actually speak, that first fast answer is buried into a pile of analysis, and you can't even remember what it said. That first little flicker, that's your gut, your intuition. It still works. It answers every single time. You've just stopped catching it before the noise rolls in. And today we want to catch it. So a while back, in episode 4, we talked about how your inner voice went quiet, how years of being told you were overreacting taught it to stop expecting your support until it learned to just not speak up. That episode named the problem. Today, I want to do something different. I want to give you something to actually do. Here's the thing about rebuilding trust with your own intuition. You can't think your way back to it. You can't read one more article about it. It comes back through practice, through small, repeated experiences of hearing yourself and then seeing that you were okay. So this is a practice episode. I'm going to give you something small and concrete. And I want to be honest with you upfront. The smallness is the point here. If I gave you something big, make a major decision from your gut this week, you would freeze. Of course you would. Of course you would think, oh my gosh, no, I can't do this, or I don't have intuition, I don't have or hear my gut feeling, whatever. So we are not starting there. We are starting so small. Maybe you think it's like silly or so, because that's the only place self-trust ever actually rebuilds from. And before I give you the practice, let me explain why it works. Because, hey, you're not going to do something just because I said so. And you shouldn't, of course. I mean, we all should think before we react to whatever. Here's what actually happening when you get that first flicker. Your gut feeling isn't magic, and it isn't random. It's your brain doing something it's extremely good at. Pattern matching at a speed far faster than conscious thought. Across your whole life, you have absorbed an enormous amount of information about people, situations, what trends to go well for you, what drains you, what's off. So most of that you can't consciously access, but your body can. So when something comes up, that fast pull is decades of accumulated experience giving you a read before your slow, verbal, second guessing mind has even started its meeting. That's why it comes as a sensation first, a tightening or a lift or a sinking or a leaning towards. The body speaks before the words arrive because the body got the message first. And here's why you stop trusting it. The second wave, the reasons, the analysis, the considering everyone else feels more trustworthy. It's verbal, it's logical, it can explain itself, and the gut can't explain itself. It just knows. And in a world that prizes reasons, the quiet knowing always loses the argument to the loud explaining. So you learn to discount the thing that was actually fast and accurate in favor of the thing that was slow and could justify itself. But fast and accurate is not worse than slow and justifiable. Often it's better. Your gut isn't the irrational part of you. It's the part that's been paying attention the longest. So let's get to the practice. I will walk you through it and then we will talk about how to use it. It has 3 steps and that's the steps. Step 1. Pick something that doesn't matter. So this week, only practice on tiny, slow stakes things. What you want to drink, which route to take, whether to say yes to a small invitation. So nothing where the outcome really matters. We are not deciding anything important. We are just practicing hearing yourself, where the stakes are too low for fear to flood in. Step 2 is catch the first answer. So when the small question comes in, pause for one breath and notice what came first. Before the reasons, that initial pull towards or away, it will be quiet. Okay, this is important. It will be quiet. It will be fast. You might feel it as much as a sensation as a thought. Just notice it. Name it to yourself. My first answer was yes, or my first answer was no. You're not committing to it yet. You are just catching it, okay? Most of the work, honestly, is just noticing that there was a first answer at all. Because for years, you've been steamrolling straight past it. And step number 3, this time, go with it. So, just for these tiny things, act on that first answer. Don't override it. Take the route your gut pulled toward. Drink the drink you actually wanted. Decline the small invitation you didn't want. And then watch what happens. Here is what you will discover most likely. Almost nothing. The world won't end. The route was fine, the drink was good, the small no didn't ruin anything. And that almost nothing, that's exactly the point. Every time you follow your first answer on something small and nothing bad happens, you send yourself a tiny, undeniable message. I listened to myself and I was okay. And this is a big win, a big first step win. That message repeated is how trust rebuilds, not through a brave decision, through dozens of tiny ones where you proved to yourself in real time that your own answer was safe to follow. And let me save you from two things that will trip you up. Because if I don't name them, you will hit them and decide the practice doesn't work or that you don't work or whatever. And neither is true. The first one, you are going to confuse fear with intuition. They feel different, but at the start, it's hard to tell them apart. So here's a rough guide. Intuition is usually quiet and steady. It doesn't argue, it just knows. Fear is loud and urgent and full of catastrophic stories. If the gut feeling comes with a racing heart and a runway narrative about everything going wrong, it's probably fear, not your gut. Your real intuition is calmer than that. It doesn't need to convince you, it just quietly points. You don't have to get this perfectly right, okay? One tiny low stakes thing, the fear is usually quiet anyway, which is another reason we start small. You are learning to feel of your own yes and no in a safe space before you ever need it for something big. And the second one will be you're going to want to skip ahead. About 4 days in, when the small stuff is working, you are going to be tempted to test it on something big, a real decision. And please don't, not yet, wait, okay? That's like running a marathon in a week one training, okay? You can run a marathon only training a week for it and then go. If you take your barely rebuilt self-trust and throw it at a huge, scary decision and it wobbles, and it will, because it's new, you will conclude the whole thing is useless. So, stay small longer than you want to. I know this is sometimes hard because it feels good, because it works and so on, but wait, let the trust actually thicken before you lean your weight on it. So keep it time to build, okay? So here's what you're really doing this week, or let's say for a week. You are not learning to make better decisions, not yet. This takes time. There is no instant thing. You're doing something more basic and more important. You're proving to yourself, one tiny moment at a time, that the part of you that knows things is still there and that it's safe to listen to her again, to your intuition, because she was always there. She's been waiting a long time for you to take her side. So, for a week, on the small stuff, you finally do. And this is the important part. So, if 3 things stay with you today. 1. Your gut answers first, and it isn't magic. It's decades of accumulated experience giving you a read faster than conscious thought can. It comes as a sensation before the words. You didn't stop having it, you just learned to trust the loud explaining over the quiet knowing. 2. Self-trust rebuilds through practice, not insight. Pick something tiny, catch your first answer before the reasons flood in. Go with it and notice that nothing bad happens. That nothing bad happens is the whole medicine. Repeat it until you believe it. And 3. Start absurdly small and stay there longer than you want. I know it's hard, but you will do it. I know that you can do this. Don't confuse fear, loud, urgent, full of stories, with intuition, which is quiet and just knows. And don't test it on the big things yet. Let the trust thicken first. You're not learning to decide better. You're proving it's safe to listen to yourself again.
Before you go, if something here touched you, there's a quiet next step waiting. I made something for you, for when you're ready to come back to yourself. You'll find it in the show notes. Thank you for being here. This was the Dignity Room. The door stays open.